to The Runner Soul. This is the podcast where running meets science, stride by stride. And who am I? I am Sharon Miller, resident podiatrist of 20 years and runner and unapologetic but nerd. So we're here today at The Runner Soul, and we've got our guest today is Neil Mills. So, how are you today?
I'm very good, thank you. And yourself?
Very good, yes. So we're going to be talking today about something that's really close to your heart, and that is all your charity work that you've been doing.
Yes, it's never ending.
So tell us a bit about it. You were telling us a little bit about it earlier, but the connection wasn't good.
Yeah, so I don't know where we got. We was talking about the next one coming up, which is, well, my next one coming up at the skydive, but we'll skip that one. The next bit is 950 conversations, and it's a spring off of a 950-mile run that I did in April. So I ran 950 miles in 21 days.
Wow.
Yeah, from London to Nottingham, Nottingham to Edinburgh, Edinburgh to Glasgow, Glasgow to Belfast, Belfast back down to Manchester, Manchester to Bristol, Bristol to Southampton, back to London.
Wow. And so what
as easy as that.
inspired this crazy mission of yours?
So I'm going to try and cut a long story short. I come from a bodybuilder background. I'm ADHD, so at a very young age.
That can come in handy, though.
Oh, I love it. Honestly, you'll see, I do lots of write-ups about the superpowers of ADHD. I've actually set my own podcast up to talk about it. But so very young, I was into drinking drugs, and at the age of 25, I left the party and I said, right, I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow and I'm never going to look back. And that's exactly what I did. So I went into bodybuilding, and at the age of 44, I entered Who Dares Wins because it'd be the last year that I could enter it. And I'm thinking big, fair. I didn't really need to train. And it was during COVID. I got through every single round, flew through all the rounds. And the last round was running. And my wife said, are you going to train for this? I went, no. It's just a military mile and a half. It'd be easy. And I failed really badly.
No way.
So it hit me hard. And someone made a comment on the back of it. And it said, see, bodybuilders can't run. So
wait and see.
Well, I remember saying, okay, I'm going to run the Brighton Marathon then. So I literally, in 8 months, I ran the Brighton Marathon, and it got really addictive. And in this time, somebody had mentioned Land's End to John O'Groats. So I had it in my head I was going to do Land's End to John O'Groats. So I had this 900-mile run in my mind. I started doing charity work for Young Lives versus Cancer. All their home from homes is 950 miles. So I thought, well, to make it a bit more personal, I'm going to visit all their homes. And that was it. But running's I don't like it, but I love it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Everyone thinks, when they look at you, they go, yeah, but it's all right for you because you've got, and I'm like, no. I get up every morning. I'm like, I run sometimes 20 miles before I go to work. And it's like, I don't want to do that. I don't even want to run. In fact, I actually enjoy 20 miles more than 3 miles because I think 3 miles, especially I hold a lot of muscle still. I'm still 105 kilo, but quite solid frame. So it takes 3 miles to get my breathing good. So people used to say you're not a long distance runner, but I am a long distance runner because the further I go out, the stronger I get.
Yeah.
There is no superpower, but the fact that I hate it because it's the hardest thing I've ever done, by far.
What's the best thing by the sounds of it?
For mental health, I've always said so. From running and obviously ADHD and it's superpowers anyway. But I say there's 2 things they should teach at school: English language, whatever language it might be, wherever you come from. But language so that people can express their feelings, and running so that they can digest their feelings, because it's such a good place to be.
Absolutely. And it's so good for your mental health, isn't it? You can be feeling, down and feeling like nobody cares. And then you get out there in the fresh air, in nature, and you just keep keep on running, keep on going, and you get all those endorphins just, running about in the bloodstream, and then suddenly you feel, woo, I'm feeling good.
I have my best days. I can't express enough how, like you say, you get up in the morning, we all feel down. Like everyone, there's no one,
Absolutely.
nobody's different. Yeah,
Everybody.
no one's exempt from depression. No one's exempt from anything. It's how you deal with it. So we have a debate, me and my friends, and it's like physical movement or motivational, like a motivational mind. And I'm like, physical movement, because if you don't move, you can't overthink your way out of overthinking, but you can move into existence. If you move into it, you'll keep moving. But if you just stand there again, I need to move, I need to move, I need to move, you're not going to move. So you need both, but I think the first has to be the movement.
And the wonderful thing about the movement is it can change you from one state to a more positive state in a very, very short time.
Yeah. Oh, 100%, million percent.
And so have you had any injuries? Have you been lucky to, keep on going? Have you had any injuries you want to tell us about and how you dealt with that?
It was really weird, actually, funny enough, because when I come across and what yous do, so most of my injuries have been around stress fractures. They've all been around overtraining, ego. So I say I've got a typical runner's ego, which is I just want to keep running. It took me, so I got it right for my 950, but prior to that, I overtrained so much. I didn't understand what recovery run meant. I didn't understand what an easy run meant. I used to go out with the same pace week in, week out, another stress fracture, another stress fracture, another stress fracture. And I'm like,
so it sounded like you just push yourself to the limit.
Way past. I remember I ran my best marathon time should have been a 350, 340. And I ended up with a 420, but I had a run 3 weeks prior that if I'd have carried on to the 26 miles, I'd have probably got a 330. That was my marathon run because I just kept overtraining, and then stress fracture just literally before.
And it's like everything, like you don't want to peak too early, because I think the reason why people get injuries is because, physically they know that they can do a certain amount, but the body takes a while to catch up. Like the bones, the ligaments, all the muscles, they are sort of like a couple of steps behind.
Yeah, and I made a couple of fatal mistakes as well because I went from, and it's really weird to go from bodybuilding to running and make this mistake, but my mistake was I went from bodybuilding to running. My instant natural reaction was I don't need to train my legs as hard anymore because I'm running. So I started journaling when I was running and I couldn't work out. So what I did is I started journaling it. And of course, I worked out that my legs wasn't strong enough anymore because I've got this big frame and I'm relying on running to keep them strong. But actually, they need to be strong to keep running. So I got it the wrong way round. So then I started going back into squats, deadlifting, and all the big compound exercises. And it made a massive difference towards the end of my run. But my most recent run would be familiar to you guys, which is my most recent injury is I've got an Achilles injury and I couldn't work it out. It felt like it was on the bottom of my foot. So it felt like something that I'd overworked the bottom of my feet basically. And it was only that I went to physio and he said, as soon as I walked in, he went, "That's your Achilles." And I was like, had I not felt my Achilles feel weak prior.
You could probably see the tightness, could he? Could see the pull.
Yeah, and I'm like, 3 weeks prior to getting this injury, when I was running, I started doing a lot of trail running. For some reason, another mental health thing, I just got it in my head. I didn't like the roads at the minute. I just wanted to be, the trails are quiet. You feel like you're on your own. So I'd done a lot of trail. So I kept feeling my Achilles getting weak. And I thought, I think as much as the trail's soft, I think treading on the uneven ground starting to play havoc with my ankles. But then, of course, the injury switched to the bottom of my foot. So I've automatically thought it was a different injury. And as soon as he said it, it made sense. Rested up. I've started getting sensible. When someone says rest, I show compromise because I have to run mental state of mind because when you create something, you have to maintain it. So obviously I've created all the endorphins where I like so much exercise. I love to run every day, but I come to a compromise, which is he says slow down. So, okay, slow down is not actually stop. It's still progression. Walking is still movement, and resting is what's best for me. So yeah, I've been resting up a little bit, taking the advice of like you guys. I mean, podiatrist, they was my lifesaver on my 950 run, by the way.
Oh, really?
Because we reached out to so many people on my run, and at first we was just getting lots of physios because everyone thought that my legs would go, and it wasn't
Yeah.
my legs that went, it was my feet. My feet went after 2 days. And I think a guy in Scotland, he was absolutely amazing. He done some amazing work on my feet. A lady in Nottingham, a lady in Bristol, and all different. I think one, two, three, yeah, four altogether. So there was two in Scotland, one in Nottingham and one in Bristol. But yeah, they was like the saviour because literally just at the right time, just as my feet got really bad, and it was like one came forward and reached out on Facebook and said, "Look, we're willing to
Oh,
help."
that's amazing.
Yeah, so
So they kept you
it,
on your feet,
yeah,
literally.
literally. Even acupuncture saved me a little bit. It took the pressure off, brought the swelling down.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it was
pretty
really
good.
good.
I do a lot of dry needling, mainly for like plantar fasciitis, and tight calf muscles and stuff, and it's brilliant.
Yeah, it
So
was really good.
tell us a bit more about the charity in case anyone wants to support you, and obviously
So,
send money.
So the next charity, so at the moment, I've only just set a page up. So there's two charities I'm going to run for. The main one is the Ollie Foundation, and that stands for One Life Lost is Enough. It was set up by three parents whose children had committed suicide. I've become very friendly. So a quick story is there's a guy in my gym named Chris. He won't mind me talking. And I talk to him all the time, but you don't know him. And he's smiling and he's always happy. And then one day I had this jumper on. I love this jumper. It's really quirky. And it says on the back of it, to the person behind me, the world is a better place with you in it. Love the person in front of you. Well, this Chris had the same jumper on. So it sparked off a little bit of a connection and a conversation.
A
Got talking
bromance.
to him. Yeah, big time. And he started telling me about his story with his son and the charity and what they do. And I was just like, I've got 5 children, and I'm like, oh my God, how does
Touched
this
your
guy,
heart. Yeah.
yeah, how have you lost your son and you've managed to turn this thing into a positive? And I was blown away by him. So I said, once I've done my run, I'm going to come back for you, and my next charity work is going to be for you. So, like I say, I've set the page up. My Instagram is at Neil Mills 950, I believe. I'm going to put the link in my bio there, and that's where everyone will be able to donate. I'll put more up as the year goes on. Like I say, this is the date set for this is the 23rd of September next year.
23rd.
And it's going to run to the 7th of October.
Well, we'll be right behind you, Neil. We'll be charting your progress.
Yeah, that'll be amazing. That'll be amazing.
Oh, that's brilliant. And what advice would you have for, like, say, somebody who is maybe just going through a very hard time where they feel a bit overwhelmed, and they just kind of feel they feel alone, basically. What advice would you give them about how to get into the running?
So the biggest thing I would say is, quite funny enough, the biggest run I've done is the biggest breakdown for mental health for me, because everyone said, how did you do it? So my advice is, don't think about the long haul. Think about what you're doing now. If you don't feel confident with running, if you can get 100 meters today and push to 150 meters by the end of the month, that's progress. Be happy with what you've got. To say that I can run 950 miles now, 4.5 years ago when I first started, I couldn't run a mile.
That's amazing.
And I remember the breakdown of how I got that mile, which was I had to run, walk, run, walk. It took me a month to get to a continuous mile where I could go out and run a mile. In 8 months, I ran the Brighton Marathon. So my advice is keep at it, keep going, walk a lot, run a lot, talk a lot. And if you're just running for your mental state of mind, find something that suits. Because I actually like interval running because I find it more enjoyable, which is to sprint, walk, sprint. It breaks it up, it makes it more enjoyable. But it's whatever's enjoyable for you.
And then, of course, there's lots of park runs. Do you have park runs where you are?
Yeah, we have loads.
That's a great way to get started, isn't it? And, you know, you can do it with the family. All the family can get involved.
Yeah, there's plenty of park runs. There's a lot of people doing walk and talks now. And keep your eye out for anyone that's local to you from Scott. If anyone's local from Scotland to Bedford, keep their eye out, because part of what we're going to do, I'll put it up in my bio, is we're going to do walks and talks. We're going to invite people to join in as we go down the country. So we'll slow the paces down. We'll have people just to sit there and talk. And another bit of advice for some people is on the days that you feel like talking, talk as much as you can, because it's good to share your problems with everyone. And maybe sometimes the walk and talk, because the movement gets the endorphins, which gets the mind flowing, and then you find that you naturally talk. But don't keep it in.
I think males as well, you know, when you're walking side to side, you know, when you're doing something, it's much easier to talk, isn't it? And to bring up, you know, situations rather than be looking at each other and you're sort of like, you know, you're a bit intimidating.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, you are a big inspiration to us, so we'll be definitely following your journey. And we'll also leave all your links so that our listeners can get access to your story and follow, and hopefully they will make a contribution.
Thank you.
And is there anything else you'd like to tell the public?
Gosh, you shouldn't ask me to do that. I'd probably never stop. I would never stop. I mean, my advice to everyone is, one thing I learned on doing the big run is, if you ever want to find out how much love is in the world, how many kind people are in the world, find something that's big to you, but do it for someone else. And what comes up is it's amazing. The people that came together when I did my run, the amount of love that I felt from people that I don't know, people that I didn't expect to. I had an epiphany moment it was in Scotland, actually. And when I reached Scotland, my feet were in a bad way. I was in such a weird, strange, happy, but focused, like all over the place. And prior to my run, there was points where I felt, because it was a real hard thing, the organising it was probably harder than doing it. And there was times where I felt so lonely, and I just felt that, you know what, no one really cares what I'm doing. No one's this, no one's that. And when I was going through Scotland, I was just looking at restaurants and people getting on with their lives and people just sitting, and I'm thinking, no one knows what I'm even doing. I'm marching the streets and no one's got a clue. And it made me realise that, you know what, sometimes we feel alone, but we're never alone, because what it is we've all got our own life going on. We've all got our own world. This is my life, that's your life. But when we need people, everyone comes together when you need them. So just because sometimes it feels like everyone's got their own stuff going on, it doesn't mean no one doesn't care. It just means that they've got their own stuff going together. But when you need people the most, that run, it just made me realise that all of a sudden it got overwhelming, because there was actually too many people. It was like,
there's too much love.
Yeah, I didn't know. Like, I wanted to thank everyone, and I wanted to feel, and I'm like, it's like so overwhelming. But yeah, you do something, find something big, and do it for someone else, and watch what comes.
That's really, really good advice. Well, thank you for all that you do and all that you're doing for all these charities. It's so good to have someone like you, and it's great for the public to know, and maybe, you know, get in touch and try and get involved in some way. Maybe they could even do something in their own little, you know, neck of the woods.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we can all get out there and get some fresh air and run and, do some good.
Yeah, we can. That's what I say. It's everything I do is just to be an advert for human potential and human kindness, because we've got plenty of it.
And not just that, but you've got 5 kids. You know, you're inspiring those kids every single day.
Yeah, 100%. Lead by example.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I'm sure they're very, very proud of you.
Yeah, 100%.
So if you need a podiatrist in Scotland, you want me to run alongside you, just give me a shout.
I'll be in contact. So prior to it, I will contact you, and I'll stay in contact through all the thing anyway, and I'll follow you guys.
Absolutely.
But I'll let you know. Well, there's one thing is, if I say I'm doing something, I'm doing something. So those dates I've put on, that's happening.
You're a man of your words.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, I'm looking forward to following and seeing your journey.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, Neil.
Thank you. You take care.
Great talking to you.
And you.
So thank you for striding through this episode of our podcast. If you've enjoyed today's episode and you'd love to hear more, please join our Facebook community, and you can share your stories. You can ask us questions and we'll be happy to answer them. And you can continue learning. The link is in the show notes. And if you would like one of our consultations, please do get in touch and we can book that for you. We only have a small amount of consultations every week, so please do give us notice and we will try to do our best to fit you in. So if you've got any questions, if you're a diabetic runner, you want to run safely with diabetes, you want to know what kind of shoes you should wear, if the shoes that you are currently wearing need to be replaced, then please do give us some notice and we'll book you in for that. And we do have a free runner's guide especially for you, and there's lots of hints and tips and foot care health checks in there. So please do download for your reference and information. And remember, guys, how your physical and mental health are deeply connected. And these will impact every aspect of your life, from your relationships to your children, your relationships with your partner, how you see yourself, your self-esteem, your confidence, your mindset. It's all connected. So please do spend some time, take time out for yourself, because it will definitely impact your life on a positive level. So when you move better, you feel stronger, you take care of yourself, then you're more able to take care of others, and it can also impact your confidence, your mindset, and your overall happiness.